Hello gamers, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Emulator. Today we're diving deep into performance, gameplay, and optimal settings for the TrimUI Smart Pro and new Smart Pro S. We'll be testing how these handhelds hold up across multiple custom firmwares, putting them to the test with some of the trickier systems to emulate, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and PSP. So sit back, grab your device, and follow along. You might just find a few tweaks and adjustments to squeeze some extra performance out of your own setup, because today we are going beyond the emulator. Before we jump into those benchmarks, if you love retro handheld content and want to see more guides like this, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the community grow. And if you run into trouble or just want to talk shop, don't forget to join our TrimUI Retro helpline over on my Discord. I've left all the details and invite links in the description below. Now, no more suspense, let's get started. So here we are, we've got the Smart Pro S here, TSP-S, running with Crossmix 1.3.9, and we're going to do Nintendo 64 to start off, because that's, and then we're going to run them all. We've got over here Knulli Scarab, so we're going to go over here and use that as my comparison as well. So let's go ahead and get our Nintendo 64 set up. We're going to go with Super Smash Brothers as one of the examples. We'll get that over there. And then over here on the right, we've got SpruceOS, the latest version 4.2.0. We'll move it out of the Dreamcast. Let's go over here to Nintendo 64. We're going to go to Castlevania as our Super Smash Brothers. And down here we've got MuOS. And we're going to go down to Super Smash Brothers. There we go. All right. So, and we've got, and right now I do not have Nextui set up. What we will swap out is the Nextui SD card into one of these devices. Probably keep Crossmix as our base, but we're going to boot all these games up as well. I've also got a crowd over here. I've got the Brick Hammer running Nextui. And over on the right, I've got Knulli Gladiator on the brick. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and boot up Super Smash Brothers. So we're running it on Crossmix 1.3.9. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and press X. Best core that I've seen run currently is using the MuOS 64 Plus, the Rice version. So we're going to get down to that one. We're going to get that one to be booted up. We're going to go over here to Knulli. We're going to go ahead as well. We're going to go ahead and take the advanced game options. We're going to go ahead and select what core we want there. We're going to match it up with the MuOS 64 Rice as well. Going to go ahead and execute that one. Over here we've got Spruce. We're going to go ahead and take an X to get to their emulator options. I'm going to overclock it because they have only 3 options. We're going to use the Ludicrous. That's their best core there. So we'll keep that as it is, get that started. And we have MuOS. We're going to do the same thing. Go ahead and press X. Right now it's got set up as the MuOS 64 Plus. We're definitely going to change that core to the best one to see what we can do to match up everybody. The best core per device. So we're going to use the Ludicrous as well. Their performance is basically the highest governor that they have. Go ahead and run that as well. You can see the images here, definitely very good image. On the boot up here, we're going to go ahead and get going. We've got Super Smash Brothers. Get the volume up a little bit. We're still booting over here on MuOS. Not really sure. And my SpruceOS just rebooted by accident. So let's get back to that one while these two are going. So if we were going to go with Knulli, let's go ahead and get into their, because again, Knulli's using a standalone core. There's no way of getting into the settings there. Audio's okay. We'll go ahead and pick Donkey Kong. We'll leave that as it is. Let's go ahead and get this one going. Audio still sounds good. Let's turn that down. Let's get the audio off the Crossmix. I'm struggling with audio here, so audio is not working well right now. There it is. But it's not very loud using the Rice core. So we've got those two ready. Let's go over here to SpruceOS. Here we go, booting right up. As you can see my screen, what we want to do is let's go ahead and press our menu key. Let's go into the settings. Let's get these to stretch as well, so we're using the same comparison. So we're going to go over to settings, we're going to go over to video, we'll go to scaling. We are going to go to our aspect of 16.9. We're going to stretch it. This one, the audio, there we go. Audio sounds good. This one sounds really good for audio. Not too bad. Sounds really good. Let's get back over to MuOS. Seems to have frozen up here. I've got a frozen screen. So what we're going to do is let's do a reboot. Sorry for the delay. And let's see if we can get Super Smash to run on MuOS. There we go, booting up. All right, we'll turn down the volume there. We'll go ahead and use the Crossmix as our first example. Volume is lagging here based on that core, not hearing a lot of audio. It's very low. I don't know if we were putting a headphone in. And we don't know what our frames per second are because we're using a standalone core. But my image, as far as where they are at, not too bad. I mean, Donkey Kong looks really good on this screen. As far as my movement, there we go, jumping around. So there's the example there. We'll turn that down, which is not going much. Let's go with our Knulli. Bring the volume up. Get MuOS back to where we were at. Go ahead and select Super Smash over here. See if that'll boot up. Now again, we're using the standalone core, so we have no way of getting any settings. Same image, looks good. Not bad at all. Both of these are using the Rice core. Not bad at all. Here's good image. It's working really well, and it's not really stretching out the screen. It would be nice if the movement would be a little bit better, but there's your example there. We'll turn that down. There we go. MuOS is going on. We'll get them up. So we've got SpruceOS. Again, it's using a RetroArch core, so you're able to get the frames per second on this one. Let's go ahead and get it up on the volume. You can actually see the frames per second. I want to say the image is not as crisp and clear. I feel like if we move him over between the two, whoops, we rolled there. So if we've got the image here, as you can see on the TrimUI Smart Pro S, just more crisp, clear. He's a little bit more lighter as far as the image. And then if we want to take the Knulli, I feel like that actually, by using the rice, is actually giving you another clear image. So I mean, these two are really close together. Now if we take over MuOS, we'll turn that down, get this example going here. Take Donkey Kong again. Again, we're using the same ludicrous core from RetroArch as Spruce. There we got a little bit of lag. There we go. But see the lighter colors here? We're using the same core. So if we were to take that example and bring these two together, whoops. We won. But as you can see, these textures are the same, using the same core, using MuOS and SpruceOS, where on the other end, using the rice core, the coloring is just much brighter, whoops, much bolder. So showing you that example. And then what we could do is, let's go ahead and get out of this. We'll go ahead and pause that. And again, that's using the two RetroArches on the right, and then the other two we're using the rice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and close out this content. We're going to swap cards here. There's a lag there, see? We're still holding up on that. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take MuOS out. We're going to shut that down. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop Nextui into the equation. And we're going to take the same Super Smash Brothers. Now that we know that basically Spruce and MuOS basically compare the same as far as what they are running, let's take Nextui. We'll load up the card. One second here while it flips across the room. And now we're going to boot up Nextui. So we'll get that booted. We'll keep Crossmix going, Knulli going because of the image. We'll leave SpruceOS, so let's see if we can compare. Now, using Nextui, we're going to be able to go and use, there we go, Super Smash Brothers. And they're using the rice core. So that would be comparing to Cross and Knulli. So we're going to go ahead and proceed. Good vibrant colors there. So this booted up in a 4.3. Audio. We're going to go ahead in here and real quick we're going to go to the options. We're going to go to the core. We've got it 2 times performance mode. Video plugin is rice. We're going to leave everything the same. As far as the screen, we're having a little bit of an issue here. Let's see, let's go one more. So if we were going to, there we go, 4.3, we want to go 16:9 for the aspect ratio. We're going to go ahead and continue. So basically it didn't change it right away. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and quit it. We're going to reboot it. It has to be rebooted to take those effects. Actually now you can see the full screen. A little bit of a delay there. Yeah, this one seems to be struggling as well. So Nextui is kind of out. So as far as this particular example of a game, Super Smash Brothers, Knulli Scarab, or using Crossmix 1.3.9, both of them seem to be working really well as far as the image and quality. So there is my example for N64 comparison. Let's move on to another platform. Okay, we're going to jump over to the PSP, and I'm going to show my example of Ghost Rider. Basically a clone of Gods of War, in a way, by hack and slash. So let's just see how that goes. We're going to, again, go with Crossmix. We'll start them off because they're the powerhouse here. They seem to be working pretty well over the other ones. Let's go with X. So we're going to select our core. We're going to default. I have not really used on the new Crossmix the Volcon Performance or the OpenGL Performance or the OpenGL. It's basically just defaulted to the Volcon and seems to have worked really well lately. So we're just going to stick with that. Press A to execute. We've got Knulli over here with Ghost Rider. It's just basically going to go ahead and open up. Let's see here. We've got PSP. So we're going to basically boot that up. I believe that's open up on the, and then we've got Nextui over here in the bottom. They're going to be using the OpenGL core, I believe. And we've got MuOS. We're going to go ahead and press X. It's just got the PPSSPP. I think they are also an OpenGL. Whoa. Let's put that on pause. So on Nextui, it basically had my save state open right away. Some of these I've started. Let's get them going, and I'll show you my settings. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and leave Nextui where it's at right now on the pause so we can get everybody else caught up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press my menu. Wait, where'd that go? And we're going to go ahead and press my load state where we were at. We'll go over here and save it to my load. Put that on pause for a second. So wait a minute, Knulli just shut down on Ghost. Let's go ahead and hit that one more time. It's loading. Unfortunately, I do not have it on Spruce. Gonna press OK. Gonna press OK. And it's crashing. Interesting. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do Advanced Game Options. Let's go with Auto. We're going to go to the libretto core. See if it boots there. Let's see if we can get that to come up as our comparison. Interesting. Loading. So what we've done is opened up the RetroArch. Let's go ahead and go to my settings here. I'm going to go to user interface, on-screen notifications. We're going to go frame rate so we can display it. I'm going to go to our quick menu. We're going to resume. Let's let that boot up. Over here, we've got MuOS. Let's go ahead and boot that up again. Get this one going. We've got a front screen going over here on Knulli now, running off the RetroArch core. Whoa. So MuOS did not make it. So they are out of the equation here. So let's go over to Nextui really quick. And they're using the, basically, let's go over to the game settings. So unfortunately, we're eliminating some people. So we're going to go over to the game settings. I'm going to show you. We're using the OpenGL. This is on Nextui. OpenGL, 2x resolution, full screen, VSync, replace my textures. I'm going to put frame skip 2, auto frame skip, leaving my alternative speeds at unlimited. Basically everything down here is default for my textures. My anisotropic filtering, I'm leaving it at 8 times. Went down. We're going to leave frames per second counter on there. We're going to go do a continue in a second. We'll get that loaded up right to the edge. We're going to Crossmix over here using the 1.3.9 on the TrimUI Smart Pro S. The only solo contender here. We're going to go their game settings just to show you. It's using the Vulkan backend. We're going to try 3 times PSP resolution. Full screen, replacing textures. We're not going to frame skip. No auto skip. We're going to leave our alternative speeds unlimited. Everything down below will be the same. Anisotropic filtering, we're going to go ahead and hit. Whoops. We're going to go to 8 times, so we're trying to compare everybody to the same. Show frames per second, we're going to keep that as well. We'll go ahead and load that from that point. We've got the game preview that's running on Knulli. Now again, we're using the RetroArch core, so as far as the options here, we're not going to really change anything, but it is using the RetroArch 1.22.2. So, and it shows here the PPSSPP version 1.16.6. So, we're going to go with resume. We're going to save it. Get out of this. We're going to continue without saving. Here we go. We'll go to story mode. And again, this is Knulli's. So we're going to go with this one first. Then we'll go to Nextui. Then we'll go to Crossmix. So we'll see how this works, frame per second. Moving around, not a problem. Still not too bad. A little bit of jitter. And again, this is using the RetroArch core because the other one, PPSSPP, was not working on Knulli, Scarab. But as far as audio is not very good here. But it is working. It's tolerable. I mean, we're not losing too bad, but there's your example of Ghost Rider using Knulli, Scarab, and RetroArch. We'll put that on pause. We're going to go over to Nextui. We're going to jump right into where we left off. See how this one functions. There we go. So again, this is Nextui. We're running at about 60 frames per second at 2 times. Much better. Working. So let's do this. Let's go over to game settings. Let's be adventurous and go 3 times. We're using the OpenGL. So we're going to compare the OpenGL to the Vulkan here actually. Let's go with continue. It did drop my frames per second. We're going to go up this way. Go to our next. Image is not too bad. We're running it a lot lower, 30 frames per second or so, but it's not lagging too bad. Input, it's moving. And this again is Nextui. Not bad at all. Yes, our time challenge failed, but as far as my movement, my input, I feel like everything is working really well. Not bad at all. Now let's take our top contender here. Let's go with loading. And this is again Crossmix 1.3.9, and we're using the Volcon. So let's go with their game settings. So Volcon 3 times. You saw the rest of the drills. We're not even going to use frame skipping on here. So we're not, which I've seen a lot. No, alternative speed is still unlimited. Everything is here is the same. 8 times anastrophic. And what we've done is a low resolution for effects reduces artifacts. It was defaulted as aggressive. We're going to go with balanced. See if that changes anything. But again, no frame skip. We're going to go ahead and continue. Let's get into this game. So 3 times resolution and 60 frames per second. Let's go ahead and take this, game settings. Let's go with, we already have full screen. Oh, we're not going to be able to stretch it much more. There we go. Integral scale factor, we checked on that. Brought it a little bit bigger. So we're running about 60 frames per second. And it's working, not bad at all, but my joystick doesn't seem to be moving as quickly as I'd like it to. As far as my input, there is a little bit of a lag still, to be fair. But the image quality on here, at 3 times at 60 frames per second, not bad at all for Ghost Rider. So there is quite a few games that you could definitely play. So here's another one to show you an example, comparing basically the TrimUI Smart Pro S versus the TSPs. So there's my PSP example. Okay, now folks, we're going to run with Dreamcast to wrap this up. So here we're going to do 2 different examples. What I'm going to do is use the Crossmix 1.3.9 on the TrimUI Smart Pro S, and we're going to go with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and we're going to match it up to the MuOS Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So we're going to go ahead and select our core here. We're going to go over and select, let's go down to Dreamcast, and basically the core that they're using is Flycast VL. We're going to run with that. That's the default core. And on Crossmix, we've got Flycast version 2.5. So this isn't a standalone. So actually what we need to do is compare it to the standalone Flycast. So we'll go ahead and select the Flycast external. So we're going to go ahead and select that. We're going to keep the performance. We're going to go ahead and execute it. So we're going to go ahead and do Marvel vs. Capcom on MuOS and boot that up. See if there's a save state. And we're going to go Crossmix and go ahead and select that one. See how these both turn out. That was much lag. And again, we're at 4.3 screen. So 30 frames per second. We're struggling here. There we go. Go to the settings. We're going to get out of this external. And this is again on Crossmix. Sounds really good. Let's go ahead and go with the default core. So their Flycast external is not even able to handle that. We'll scroll down here. We're going to go with the Flycast. Now let's boot that up and see if it changes anything. Much better, 60 frames per second. We're going to put that on pause. Let's see how MuOS handles that boot screen. And then I'll show you a few settings here on both. Sounds much better quality. So using the RetroArch Flycast VL. And we're running at 50 frames per second or so. Not bad at all. So again, if we're going to go into settings, we're using the RetroArch Flycast version here. If we're on the Crossmix, you're using the standalone. So let's go ahead and resume with this. Let that get to its starting point. On here, on the Flycast, we're going to do a couple changes here. We're going to go to settings. Sound quality is okay. So over here on the settings for Crossmix on their standalone, we're going to go down to video. You can see it's using the Bulk-on core, so we'll leave it at that. We've got VSync already there. We'll load custom textures. We're going to change the resolution to 1.5 right now. We're going to scroll down, leave everything else as default settings. We're going to go to frames per second. We're going to bring this back up. We're going to go ahead and select Make Configuration. Done. Resume. Okay, so 1.5 resolution. We're at 60 frames per second. Image on there. Quality of the image is looking really good. I'm going to be interested when I put another SD card with another firmware into the TSP-S, how much of an image it's going to show up versus Crossmix. We're just going to go ahead and select some people. Audio, really good. Image quality here, you can see the colors. Now I know there could be some settings in it, but as far as you'll see the difference in TSP-S over here with Crossmix, MuOS. So let's see the input on the MuOS. Moving okay. Kickwise, jump, boom. Not too bad. Input, about 40 frames per second. Now if we want, and this is set up, if we were going to go over here while the other one's working, just to show you, video scaling is set at smart. So that's my integral scaling on. My movement, not too bad. Not too bad, it's playable. Not able, if I was not comparing it now to the TSP-S in their image with the color that's vibrant, when we move over to this one, look at how it just comes out in color. Moving. Again, we're running at about 60 frames per second, so let's go in. Turn that one down. If we go over to the TSP-S, go to settings. This seems to do that when you change the resolution. So to do that while it scrolls, you'll see we're going to change it to 2 times resolution. Going to bring this up. Done. We're going to resume. Now we're running at 2 times resolution. I'm a big green ogre looking guy. Oh, I got blown away. But look at the quality of the image. Not bad at all. 60 frames per second, 2x resolution on Crossmix 1.3.9. That is looking great. So there's my example of those two devices. We'll go ahead and get out of this. So just a couple changes we made. We'll go ahead and get out of this. Now we're going to compare another game. Since MuOS only has a couple games for Dreamcast, we'll take that out of the equation here on this last one. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do Swords of Berserk. I know that's a good hack and slash. Let's go ahead and boot that up on the TSPS with Crossmix. And then we've got SpruceOS. We're going to go ahead and boot that up. So we're going to use the Flycast standalone there as well with the overclocking. Boot that up. And we've got Nextui, which is also using a standalone Flycast. So we'll be able to compare these three. That one jumped right into a save state. That one's jumping from the front. This one's at 28 frames per second. Let's turn this down. Get that there. Save successful. Let's get this one booted up. So we've got SpruceOS. Let's go ahead and get their image. We go to Settings. We're going to take this down to Scaling so we can see what's going on there. We're going to bring this up. Now we can review it. So we're going to go over to its video. It's using the Vulkan core for SpruceOS. We've already got it at 1.5 scaling. Everything else will stay the same. We'll go ahead and make a configuration. We'll go done. I don't believe I have a save state. There we go. We do have a save state. And they're kind of jittery, but we'll go with it. We'll go with the second one. And we're going to go ahead and proceed. Whoops. We're going to go ahead and load it. Again, this is on Spruce. And there we are. We're actually going already. So 1.5 is really running at 15 frames per second, which is really horrible. So let's go ahead and pause that. Go to Settings. Go to Video. We're going to change it down to 1. You can go Done. Resume. Whoa, it definitely took my frame down to a definite image. So that was interesting. This one over here using Nextui. Turn up the audio. Yeah, 10 frames per second. And again, when I put it on, we completely lost it. It froze up. So now going over to Crossmix. Goodness. We're going to go right into the game. Watch this. There we go. 30 frames per second. So like I said, if we go to Settings, we go to Video, we're running at 1.5 resolution, Vulkan, and this is with the Flycast using on the Crossmix. We could make it a full screen if we wanted to, but as far as my example here, again, his movement in this particular game struggles with Dreamcast, so definitely going to be looking for some other Dreamcast games we can show an example or comparison. But at 30 frames per second, it does definitely lag with this huge sword. So there is my example to wrap up all three of them. I hope this helped you out with running across some of your firmware and some of those cores and the comparison with TSP and TSPS, running with the different multiple firmwares. Again, thanks for watching. And from Beyond the Emulator, happy gaming.